Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to thank you for joining the webinar today on peace of mind for schools. We've still got people logging in, so we're going to give it another minute or so. Give those folks a chance to log in. My name's Chris Karen. I'm the VP of Sales with Splan, and joining me is Bill Holbert, our sales engineer. Today, we're going to talk about peace of mind for schools and talking about how to effectively let visitors in and do screening process and also emergency management, which is something we're going to dive into a little bit today. So we look forward to you joining us. I will ask you that if you have any questions, to please type them into the chat window and we will address them at the end of the session. Today's session should only be about 30 minutes. So with that, we'll jump right into it. So we're going to go over the agenda. We're going to talk about Splan, uh, why it's so important for visitor management at schools, the benefit of Splan, what we do a little different from our competition, and how we set ourselves apart. Bill's then going to take you into the software in a live demo and navigate you around how the system operates. And then once again at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. So just type those straight into the chat window and we'll get to them at the end. So real quick, we're going to talk about Splan. Just a quick update on who we are. If this is your first time joining our monthly webinar, um, Splan, we deliver a fully automated system for not only visitors, but contractors, employees, and really from a holistic view of anybody that comes into the facility. And we do it by driving two factors. One is security and the other is simplicity. We're based in California and we've got well over 60 years of combined physical and cybersecurity experience across the entire team. Um, we talk about integration being cost effective, deep understanding of application security, making sure that we meet all of the IT security needs, and then once again a deep integration into physical access control systems. So let's talk about some of the current issues facing schools. The biggest is really real-time data, um, understanding who's able to come in the school, who has been authorized to be there, and making sure that they meet the requirements to be in that school. Um, these days, a lot of transient students, right? Making sure we capture them and their registered guest and who can pick them up. Background, not only for volunteers, uh, but for guests as well, and making sure that when somebody's picking up a student that they meet that security background. Making sure we stay up to date with family issues, if there's a court order or an injunction, and how do we make sure that that's on the list. Once again, unfortunately, in schools, incident, emergency management, how we communicate. And then it also helps to make sure that you're reliable, which we certainly are. So the Splan platform, protecting our students. What you'll hear from us today is there's really two arms to Splan, right? There's our integrations, where we talk to third-party platforms that help us solve issues. And then there's also modules. These are native to Splan that perhaps solve other issues. And those are the two ways that we really support our school environment. We have the ability to do emergency notifications. We make sure that we upload approved guardianships of students. Our check-in and check-out process, Bill's going to go through that. It's seamless. It's easy. We have the ability to do early dismissal, early, tardy, late dismissal, lawful administration of court order injunctions, like I mentioned before, a compliance list of do not admit, right? Whether it's ex-employees, staff, volunteers, or unfortunately, in some cases, even students that have graduated and moved on. The ability to do emergency drill management. And we're kind of excited. We're going to show you a brief snippet of our mustering module, which will be next month's webinar. The ability to control check-in and check-out process. And once again, the enforcement of early pickup. So with that, we're going to kind of talk about the overall core visitor management experience of Splan. The first is how we're deployed. The beauty of our system is our software is agnostic. We can be deployed on premise, on your servers or your virtual environment, or we can be in the cloud. We're Microsoft Azure in the cloud. We're SOC 2, ISO certified, and everything's encrypted, not only at rest, but also during transit. We are browser based. Makes it very simple to get to Splan. We include Active Directory, but we also have options for single sign-on. And our system is role-based. So there's a hierarchy to the system and who can make changes and who can view what, all the way up from principal to staff to emergency personnel, drill coordinators. We are multiple languages. There are some, and I'm sure Bill will show this, there's some 27, 28 languages in the system. Once again, we're a configurable open REST API stack. So we have the ability to talk to a lot of other third-party integrations. So how do we get people in the building? First off, we can schedule folks, right? We can send a pre-registration to schedule a volunteer to come in and help support the staff. And then we have walk-ins. And we also have authorized personnel, volunteers, contractors that come to work. So we manage this a few ways. One, we send out that pre-registration email, or we have someone come to the kiosk and they check in. There's a lot of things you can do at our kiosk. You can scan that QR code from that pre-registration email. We have OCR technology on our kiosk, so we have the ability to scan a driver's license or business card to auto-populate that data. And we'll talk about backgrounds in a minute, a different kind of scan. We have the ability to do facial recognition. So once they drop their driver's license in, we can also take a live picture of the face in front of them and compare the two and match and make sure that we are who we say we are. We have the ability to sign a policy acknowledgement or a site-specific document to that school. We do have COVID health screening questionnaire is still available to folks that need it. And then once again, the big thing with schools is that background check, sex offender, custody violations. We have the ability to do all that real time at the kiosk. And the beauty of our system is our notification platform, right? We're driven within Splan to generate a notification based on every action. And those notifications can be set based on our rules engine, where they go. So if I'm checking in to see someone, maybe the secretary gets an email, but I'm on the watch list. Maybe security gets a text message to get up front immediately. So we can support 5 forms of notification: email, text, phone, Teams, and Slack. And once again, any combination. So then here are these other peripheral things, the second arm, right? The things I talked about that are native to Splan. So we have the ability to do emergency and drill management. So we can do that on a monthly basis. Event management, whether it's for graduation or special occasions and dances, we have the ability to send out those invites to make sure that the right people show up. We have the ability to do package delivery, right? Someone drops a package off at the front desk for whether it's a teacher or a student, we can check that package in, send the recipient a notification so that they know to come check that package out. So we've got an audit trail. We have a ton of compliance reports and dashboards. Bill's going to show you those things. And then for volunteers and approved contractors and our teachers, we have integration into access control. We talk to 25 plus access control systems. And the beauty of that is we can provision a temp card based on a time period within Splan so that we're limiting the number of folks that are in your PAC system. That's not a system that we want to open up to a lot of people. So we can manage that quickly and cleanly within Splan. This is just a quick snapshot of our dashboard. Bill's going to take you live into it here in a moment. And these are some snapshots of the kiosk, right? Kiosks are 100% configurable in how they're set up, what the buttons look like, and the workflow. And by workflow, I mean what's required to check in, right? What information do I need to gather from that guest or that visitor. So Bill's going to walk you through that as well. So let's talk about what our kiosks look like. Our kiosk kits are great. They're simplistic, they're easy to use, they're clean. We speak iOS and Windows. The version I'm showing you here is a neat tabletop platform with a case and an iPad. It can connect Wi-Fi or Ethernet and a Brothers Bluetooth soft badge printer, which once again is also 100% configurable. And then we have our freestanding model. Works in the exact same way. The printer is inside the unit. It spits the badge out in the center. One of the few times at Splan we use the word customize, but if you want to have this customized with specific wording around the banner of the iPad or a specific wrap with your school's logo, we certainly can do that. And the beauty of Splan and the configurability is you don't need kiosk. Bill's going to show you from the dashboard, we can check people in, or we can do it hybrid, right? We can check in some of our information at the kiosk and then complete the task through a receptionist or a security guard where they're verifying certain information before they complete the check-in task. So there's a lot of different ways within Splan to get folks in the building. And we're almost ready for the demo, but this is one thing we wanted to briefly touch on today, and it's important in schools, and it's our new mustering solution. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a webinar on the complete mustering system next month, but we thought we'd give you a little look at it. And we all know what mustering is, but the bottom line is Splan can now manage that process completely, right? So we know everybody that's in Active Directory or your PAC system, or if you're using single sign-on, we have the visitors enrolled into the system. So we have the ability, based on your mustering managers, based on your mustering locations, to send them a report so that when they get to these locations, they can check people. I'm going to use the word in, but really it's out, right? We can check them out, make sure that we've got notification that they're outside the building so we can quickly identify who's left inside the building. And we all give you that remote capability with our mustering solution. To wrap this up, we're going to talk about implementation. So we are dealer direct, but here this is the beauty of Splan, and we've talked about this configurability and how we operate. We do the implementation at Splan, right? We have a kickoff meeting with the dealer. We understand the parameters. We set roles and understand who's going to do what. And then we begin the process of configuration, the integrations. We get to the user acceptance test. We let them test it, play with it, make sure it meets their workflow requirements. And then when we get to readiness confirmation, we train them, give them all the supporting documents, and then the customer goes live. So the beauty about Splan is we never leave your side or your customer's side, but we are dealer direct. So now I've already see we've got several questions. I'm going to show our map of our territories and our sales reps, our regional reps, and I ask you to get a hold of them at any time. But we do have a few questions. Looks like some of them have been answered. What records are you checking the identity against? Once again, we have sexual offender, we have background checks with MK denial, Descartes, or we even give the end user the opportunity where we'll connect to a myriad of third-party watch list, and they can determine what they want to run against. I'll let everybody know now that not all background checks are created equal. So you can have what you want to run against designed based on your needs. Our workflow, kiosk workflow is universal across the enterprise. The answer is absolutely not. What you do at one kiosk, you can do completely different at the other kiosk. And that's not only by location, but also by site, right? So what we do at location A, we can have two kiosks doing two very different things. And then at location B, they can be doing different things. So we have all that available to us. Can we take a photo of the visitors? Yes, we certainly have the option to enable the ability to take photos. Reports. So there is a number of reports in the system. We can see check-in, check-out, volunteer, early pickup, parties. And there's also reports that we can configure and customize for you based on your requirements. Can you manually enter visitor information system? Yes, as we discussed, there is a multitude of ways to get visitors in the system. You can use the kiosk, you can use the dashboard, or you can use a little bit of both, right? I can check in myself at the kiosk, then go over to the receptionist, hand them my ID. They can confirm I am who I say I am, and they can complete the check-in process. So there's a multitude of ways to check folks in. Can you configure, this is a great one, and I think there's only one more after this. Can we configure our own notifications? Beauty of the answer is yes. Because of our preference and rules engine, we have the capability for customers to configure their own notifications. Once again, across all 5 of the platforms we discussed: email, text, phone call, Teams, and Slack. And those notifications can go out simultaneously across all platforms to multiple people. And the last one was about access control systems. As I mentioned, we currently connect to, I know it's over 25, I don't know the exact name, but for most of our dealers, it would be the ones you recognize, right? Linnell, Genetec, Brevo, Avigilon, Secure, Honeywell. So if you've got more questions, I would certainly ask you to reach out to your regional sales rep, and they will not only take you into an in-depth demo, but we'll talk to you about all of our integrations. So once again, I think we're right at the time limit. We want to thank you for your time today. And once again, we look forward to our monthly webinars. Next month will be mustering, and we're very excited to roll that platform out. So I want to thank everyone again for your time today. Please have a safe and wonderful week. Thank you again.